Finally, someone I can work with. Let's do this. Pop up. Pop up. Pick up the phone.
Hello?
Pop up. Hey there, hey Rory, it's me. It's me. I'm on the phone to you right now. It's me, David Beckham. Me, David Beckham. Got myself a team. Miami. I've been in America quite a while now. I'm going to be there for quite a while. I'll be there for a long, long time. It's taken a while, look to get it to work, but no doubt about it, this team's going to go and win the whole franchise league. No doubt about it, Rory. You hear me? You hear what I'm saying? You haven't said a word yet.
I'm replying.
Oh, talk to me, boy.
Wonderful news. Wonderful news. So you're going to win the league in America?
No doubt about it. These guys, they came to play. We looked at him and we said, these guys, are they going to come and play? They're coming to play. We can do it, no doubt.
And you're doing it in Miami?
No doubt about it. I seem to be saying the same thing again and again.
You're convinced?
Me? I'll get myself a little pie, eel and mash up. It's going to be exciting times for me and my family. We come all the way up, born and raised in London, as you can hear. And now, starting again in Miami. It's exciting times. I'll see you later.
It's a fantastic accent.
Thank you.
It was very southern. Was it meant to be as southern as it was?
I think that's bang on, isn't it? That's a Miami accent, isn't it?
No, I don't think they're not sort of deep south.
Oh.
But I preferred yours, don't get me wrong. I hope that's the accent that he adopts.
Weirdly, David Beckham sounds exactly like that now.
Is that what's happening?
You know when you get like some people,
like Steve McLaren.
You'll know, you're a glamorous man. A lot of guys, Steve McLaren, but a lot of people, they go over to America and they get a subtle twang.
Yes.
And often impressionists out there can't do David, but I've been able to get that subtle twang just right.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So
yeah, I loved it.
So David Beckham has got his own franchise.
He has.
I find this amazing that when he went to LA, I think a lot of people. This shows the strategy of David Beckham and the machine behind David Beckham. That he was offered the option of a franchise when he signed as a player. That doesn't happen to many people, does it?
These deals, though, James, are ridiculous. The one that really blew my mind was the Neymar deal. You know when Neymar moved to, he had the chat with the owners of Paris Saint-Germain, they offered to build him a chain of hotels. So there'll be the Neymar in Vegas, the Neymar in Dubai.
Really?
Yeah, you can stay at the Neymar when you're in Sydney.
Wow.
I mean, this is the scale of these players now.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
He's 42 now, and a lot of this class of 92, they've got involved in these clubs, and they want to own their own clubs, which is again is something that I don't think. Back in the day, you had you became a manager, or assistant manager, or you bought a pub. It seemed like those are the options.
Because they're so rich.
But they're so rich now. That, it's been quite a few years in the making. Initially, they came out a couple of years ago that he was going to... It looked like he wanted to certainly have a franchise and have it in Miami. But they've struggled to get permission to have a stadium, but they've now done that. They still haven't got a name for it. I mean, obviously you only need the second part of it, and they'll need a whole brand, of course, as well, which is going to, fit David Beckham. But first of all, we were talking before we went on air, and you're saying you think that this is a mistake, having a team in Miami.
I'm not in favour of the whole thing. I'm not in favour of David Beckham creating a football team. Like, who do you think he is? But if he's going to do it, I think, sort of from a business perspective, it doesn't make any sense to do it in Miami.
Yeah.
Miami's a beautiful place. It's a glamorous location, but that's why he's done it. He's done it because he likes Miami. He's picked the location because he likes to go on holiday there, and he likes the people, and he likes the clubs and the restaurants.
Yeah.
Miami, as a place, has an incredibly transient population. So people who live in Miami often retire there. They often are holiday makers. They're people who have been born elsewhere and gone to live in Miami, which means that they probably don't feel the affinity to the place. So they're not going to support Miami.
Yeah.
They lived their first 30 years of their life in Portland.
I think it shows that I don't think he's too bothered about that.
No, it's for him. It's just a toy.
That's a dangerous ploy, because it doesn't look good if you've got an empty stadium. That I think the money will come from everything outside of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But the fact that you've got teams like Columbus Crew who, that is an important team in that community, but the attendances have been good there, and they could quite easily be a lot better than what you'll get at Miami with apparently I was chatting to someone who's an MLS fan, and they were saying that Miami, the other teams, they're not for exact reasons that you're saying, they're not that well supported either, because they do good numbers when they're doing well, like a lot of teams do, but that kind of core community that's going to want to go and watch those football games, he's saying that it's not there. So it's a gamble for him.
It's not there. It's not a gamble for him because he's got the Midas touch and it can't go wrong for him. What difference does it make? But I just find the whole thing really brash, really arrogant, really self-fulfilling, and quite difficult to even consume. When I think of what's going on with other football clubs at the moment, when you look at the plight of Hartlepool United, Hartlepool are about to go out of business for the sake of a few £1,000s. They can't raise it. They don't have it. They've got the support. They're a club with a rich history in the game. They've been around from day dot, and they are about to go out of business. There are other clubs on the precipice of a disaster that aren't quite there yet. If David Beckham was to throw his weight around, go and invest in a club that exists. There are clubs out there that need your support.
Yeah,
instead of that, he creates a big toy in another country. It's brash and it's ludicrous. I don't like it.
Do you know what I was going to say to you as well? That like, the thing for him, he is putting himself out there with a team. But then again, I think in MLS it's a little bit different because there's no relegation. You can't go through the leagues. And in terms of the draft system, it's actually the important thing is, can he attract players? He's got a video from Lionel Messi saying, "Oh, give me a call in a few years." It works for him in that sense. It's a safer bet than normally.
There's no doubt that it works. There's no doubt that it will work in as much as there'll be a lot of hype around it. The stadium will fill. The stadium will. They will have a support base. I don't quite know if they will be people who are from Miami. I mean, it will be tourists. It will become another tourist attraction in the state of Florida. It's not dissimilar to Walt Disney World.
Well, I won't go that far, but
it doesn't exist. Who's he doing this for? It's not for the people of Miami, is it? Because they don't have it.
Well, who's
it for? It's for David Beckham and Brand Beckham.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's also about. I guess you've got to judge David Beckham. Is it about his values? He's always he's never wanted to be a manager, and he's always been
because he's illiterate. That's why he does. It's not that he doesn't want to be a manager. It's because he's thick as shit.
That's harsh.
He's thick as shit, and he churns out money, and he's a money maker.
That's unfair because he's smart enough to get to where he's got to in life. So even if that's being able to not delegate, but bring in the right people to and be able to kind of adhere to the management that you get given. Certainly, a lot of other people have both either been intelligent or had intelligent people around them and haven't been.
What, like Victoria?
Victoria's doing very well for herself, though, isn't she?
Do you know what it's just reminded me of? It's reminded me of. Did you ever see that interview with Ali G?
Yeah,
the best thing ever. When Ali G's interviewing the Beckhams, and he goes, "So, when your kid grows up, do you hope that he's a footballer, like his dad, or a singer, like Mariah Carey?"
She's again. That's what I mean. They've both been smart enough to. They
generate a lot of money. They generate a lot of money. Therefore, they are. It's very easy to say, "Oh, but aren't they clever?" This is the equivalent. Argument, though. It drives me mad. When people talk about Joey Essex, they go, "God, but isn't he clever?" You go, "What? Well, he's a millionaire, and he says clever." Well, no, that's not quite true. It's a far more layered thing than that. Generating money doesn't equal intelligence. So, and David Beckham isn't dissimilar to a moron. Like, he's a moron. Like, he's actually a moron.
Well, I've never met David, but I do a very good accent of it. So what do you think, what's the basis around his success?
The basis around his success is he's incredibly good looking. He timed it perfectly. He was around at the right time, and he married the right girl to become the couple. The British, they became incredibly marketable as a brand. And he's managed it all very well, or he's been managed very well. And as a result, he's now buying a football team in a country that he doesn't live, in a city that doesn't want it, but he wants it. I want to live in Miami. And I want a football team.
Off you go. We spoke about that longer than I thought, but there's lots to talk about. This is the One for the Weekend podcast, sponsored by Fanly. We're going to get you geared up for the weekend's football. Load of games yesterday that Rory probably won't want to talk about too much.
Just keep talking about Beckham.
But we'll have to get onto Chelsea. I haven't even put that in the running order, but we will talk about Chelsea.
Great. You didn't put it in the running order because you knew I'd see it.
Then you just walk off. Flav's not here. He's not well today, so Rory's an able replacement. But we're going to talk about Spurs versus Liverpool. Massive game this weekend. West Brom versus Southampton, which is the bottom of the league is just incredible. So congested, anyone can go down. And also, importantly, we're going to react to transfer deadline day, which was one of the most impressive, certainly in terms of money. And there was a lot of talking points for once on a transfer deadline day. So we'll discuss that and discuss which team we think has maybe had the best window in the Premier League. So let's get through the trivia that we have every single week. Last week, we asked you this, and I didn't see anyone getting it, but someone got it. I can't believe it. Which 5 Premier League Players of the Month winners were from Australia, Austria, Croatia and Paraguay? So it was Paraguay and Turkey, sorry. So there's one from each, a player who's won Player of the Month. Josh Hardy, thank you for commenting. You got 3 out of 5. Devang Shah, who likes to comment every single week, he got it. He got 5 out of 5, as did Dan Fraser. So the answers were Mark Schwarzer got Player of the Month for Fulham in 2010. Alex Meninga. Remember him?
Alex Meninga.
You had your own song for Alex Meninga?
I remember the Arsenal fans singing it.
Was he only... I get him mixed up with... who's the Southampton goalkeeper that was really good? That went
Tim
to
Flowers.
Arsenal?
That went to Arsenal.
But he was like Austrian or something. He had bleached blonde hair.
Nancy
Thiemi, yeah. He was quality, wasn't he? Nancy Thiemi.
Was he at Bolton as well?
No, that's Jaskalainen. Getting our Scandinavians mixed up. So Alex Meninga did it for Arsenal, March 1998. So I think that must have been the season they won the double that year. So Seaman must have been injured, and he stepped in and got Player of the Month. You don't see many goalkeepers getting Player of the Month, but those two did. Jelavic for Everton, who was the Croatian who's won it in April 2012. Roque Santa Cruz did it for Blackburn Rovers, only Paraguayan player to win it in December 2007. And Muzzy Izzet.
Is it?
It is. Whose brother Kamal Izzet I saw play quite a few times. He was a good player for Colchester.
He came through the Chelsea youth
did he?
Muzzy, yeah.
So yeah, Muzzy Izzet was did it for Leicester City. He's the only, because he played for Turkey, didn't he? Proper Cockney.
Cockney, yeah.
And he went to the World Cup. I think he went to the World Cup in 2002.
Did he?
And he played. I think he played in the last 10 minutes or something. Oh, no, I think he may play in the 3rd, 4th place playoff because they got to the semi-finals.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah, Muzzy Izzet was a bit of a shame him at Chelsea. It just didn't.
No,
he had a great career as a Premier League player.
He did very good at Leicester, wasn't he? That's
very
good. Excelled.
Yeah. This week we've got another question for you. So let us know what you think the answer is. Don't Google it. Please don't Google it because you're just spoiling the fun. And if you get it right, we will give you a shout out next week. Who holds the record for the most Premier League goals scored in a season by a relegated club? You can see it in front of you, Rory, so don't answer. Okay. But yeah, let us know. There's only one team. How many goals? If you can guess how many goals they scored as well, that would be decent. But which team scored the most goals but got relegated? Let us know in the comments below. So as I said earlier, this podcast is brought to you by Fan League, and that's an app. It's a predictor app, 13 English football games. We've got a one for the weekend league, which is good. We're getting more and more people involved, and it's helped. It's made a massive difference, Rory. We've gone up 3 places in the league of leagues. Our average is now 6.2, which is, it's not good, but we're getting there. Sam Fayhurst, 8 out of 13 was the game week winner last week. Well done, mate. And Jamie Dunn as well, who also got 8 out of 13. So you guys did the best for us this week. So thank you for taking part. Mug roll call. I'm gonna have to actually. Go on, Rory. You can do it. So just say the word mug to this camera when I say David Ambrose.
Mug.
Ryan Casey.
Mug.
Both of you absolute mugs. 2 out of 13. Should be ashamed of yourself. Not good enough. Okay. We'll have another go this week. If you're on the mug roll call twice, I'll ask you to leave the app. Okay. But if you want to get involved in the one for the weekend league, you can do so. There is a link in the description. Click on that right now. Add me as a friend, James Alcott, ALLCOTT. If you have any problems, find me on Twitter at James Alcott, ALLCOTT, and I'll add you to the league. Stat Nuggets time. Loads of little features here. It's good, isn't it? It's jam-packed, this podcast this week. So Burnley. Let's talk about these. So this is Stat Nuggets. This is a few stats that I'll reel off for you, and you can have that in your back pocket for the weekend if you need it. So Burnley have won 1 in their last 8. Have not won a game in 2018, and they've only scored once.
You could almost substitute the word Burnley for Chelsea there.
You could do, yes. When's the last game you won?
I think we've won 1 game this year.
Wow. We'll get onto that. Arsenal conceded 11 goals from self-made errors this season, so any Wenger out people, you might want to have that, pop that in your back pocket. Czech had a nightmare again this week. In hindsight, did that work out for you, getting rid of him? It did, didn't it?
With hindsight, yes. At the time, I was distraught. Yeah. Yeah, at the time I was really, really worried about it because it felt like Arsenal were on the precipice of something good.
Yeah.
It felt like they were 1 or 2 world-class players away from launching a really serious and sustained bid for the title. We gave them one of those players.
Yeah.
So at the time I was gutted, but...
I think there was that gamble, that considered gamble at the time that Courtois, clearly quality, he's going to be here for a good few years, you're going to get loads of years out of him. You might get a couple of good years out of Czech.
But my issue wasn't really... Like, bring Courtois in, absolutely. Let Courtois... And if Petr Cech has to leave, that's fine. But don't ever strengthen a rival. Don't strengthen a rival that needed strengthening in that position so desperately for years.
Yeah.
Don't do them that favour. And it was done as a gesture of goodwill from Roman Abramovich. He wanted to stay in London because he wanted to he basically moved to Arsenal for the school run.
Really?
Yeah, he wanted to stay in London. Chelsea were in a position to say, no, you may leave, you will get a huge signing on fee, whatever, we won't hold you to ransom, but you're going to Paris Saint-Germain,
right?
Or you're going anywhere but not there, and your little lad will have a great time at school in Paris as well.
Yeah, it's strange. And now he is struggling. I think there's always that hyperbole around a player who's older. Like people are ready to go and say, like, you've lost it now, especially goalkeepers as well. I remember, I mean, to be fair, David Seaman was 39 by this point, but it did get to a point where he was crumbling away, but he just wouldn't go. I wouldn't say Czech's at that level yet, but I think you've got to be so good with your feet now.
Arsenal fans aren't convinced by him at all, though.
Not at all, no.
Like, when I talk about how good a keeper he was, and like just when I can do it often, like when I can gush about the brilliance of Petr Cech, my cousins and Arsenal don't want to hear it.
Really?
Not interested.
Well, guess what? Yeah, because he's making mistakes. As it says here, 11 goals from self-made errors. Not all from Cech, but still, it shows that despite the good window that Arsenal have had, and we're going to talk about that, there's still other problems there. Carlos Carvalhal has taken 10 out of 15 points in his last 5 games, and he's played Spurs, Liverpool, and Arsenal in that time. The little manager bounce, it's worked again. It's such a little turbo boost for teams down the bottom. You can it makes you understand the panic of it, and I guess the more that you get this kind of reaction from teams, the more that panic's gonna get shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an incredible record, but this is pretty much what Swansea did a year ago.
Yeah.
They brought Clement in, they brought Makelele in, they saw a resurgence, and they've adopted exactly the same principle, and it's worked again.
You can totally see November he's gone though.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, there's a trend there, isn't there? Firmino has scored 5 and assisted 2 in his past 6 Premier League matches. Another player that you've spoken about recently, saying how I think everyone's started to twig just how good he is. Yeah,
I think he's so good.
Yeah,
because the thing that I think is brilliant about Firmino is it's what he's like. What isn't he good at? Like, where's the flaw? He's basically everything you want from a centre forward. He's everything you want Alvaro Morata to be. Everything I want Alvaro Morata to be. Like, what doesn't he do? He works his socks off. He scores spectacular goals. He scores just tapping. He provides goals. He's just the complete centre forward, playing brilliantly. Yeah, got a great attitude. There's nothing to dislike about him. He's just a complete centre forward.
I remember the Man City game being really impressed with him because I kind of had this feeling, I had this idea in my head that he was a bit of, for want of a better word, a bit of a tart. But
no, he's hard.
But he's hard.
He's hard.
Yeah.
No, he's really hard.
Good, like, proper striker.
That's what I mean. Genuinely, I challenge you or anyone listening. What's he not good at? Where's the flaw in the game? Because I don't see one. I really don't.
Maybe his haircut, that's slightful. And the teeth, they're ginormous, aren't they? It's mental. And final stat nugget for you this week. Huddersfield are without a win in the past 7 Premier League games, 3 draws followed by 4 losses, and have enjoyed just 2 wins in their past 14 in all competitions. Drawn 3, lost 9. Matt, our owner, anyone who knows the Long Ball Street, for a long period of time, knows that last year was his year. And I mean, the lads will, back me up on this. He's in bits. He's falling away. He had this confidence of like, we're in the Premier League, we're a massive team now, and it's sad to see how depressed he's getting. Yeah, it's difficult to watch.
It's hard to see it turn as well. Yeah. I can't quite see what they're going to do to change it around.
And the bravado's gone. He was like, there was an enthusiasm. He thought they could do it. He thought they could stay up.
It looked like
he was happy to digging me out all the time, digging out QPR, tiny little club QPR. Well,
he was right on that.
Not looking good, is it? It's not looking. All I'm saying, we'll be playing you next year, hopefully, if we stay up. Right, transfer deadline day was yesterday. According to Deloitte, the Premier League club's total spending for the 2017-18 season is an estimated 1.9 billion quid. Mad. Premier League clubs spent a January transfer deadline day record as well. 150 million was spent on Wednesday to take their overall outlay for the month to 430 million. What I found really interesting was that Deloitte were then saying, though, although it's another record-breaking season in terms of money being spent, it's still in line with the amount of money that teams are getting brought in. Yeah. So, estimated 2017-18 net spend of 755 million quid represents just 17% of forecast 2017-18 Premier League revenue, which is so teams are spending the same percentage that they have done in previous years. They've just got so much more money.
So much more money.
And I was listening to Five Live Daily, and it was saying how I think Serie A the biggest transfer was about 4 million.
Really?
In terms of money spent, and in the Bundesliga it was 19 million. Yeah. So it's incredible the amount of money spent. And Chelsea had a busy day. Giroud was brought in. Palmieri was brought in as well. You were talking about strengthening a rival earlier. Do you feel like you've done that, haven't you? How does that sit with you?
We've done it indirectly. The team that done it directly are Arsenal. Arsenal strengthened Chelsea directly. Indirectly, it was us allowing Batshuayi to go to Dortmund, which allowed Aubameyang to sign for Arsenal. So we've done it in an indirect sense. We strengthened what we did. We serviced Dortmund.
Yeah.
Dortmund, then there was a knock-on effect. Arsenal allowing Olivier Giroud to sign for Chelsea. I don't know how the fans will feel about it. I can't think they'd be too impressed by it, but signing Aubameyang will definitely sweeten that pill.
With the result yesterday, 3-0 defeat to Bournemouth, is there an aspect of you now that is worried that it could come and bite you even more so? Because if it doesn't work with Giroud, and seeing the game yesterday, there was a massive problem there with the fact that you didn't have a target man for Hazard to work with. So that will make a difference. But are you starting to worry that you might not make top four and Arsenal finish above you?
No, Arsenal won't. Arsenal too far adrift, I think. The fear is, the way that I'm looking at the league now, there's Chelsea, Tottenham, and Liverpool. One of those is going to miss out. That person at the moment is more likely to be Chelsea than anyone else. So that's my worry. Bringing in Giroud, though, is good news. It's not the dream signing. They haven't signed Dybala.
Yeah.
But it's a player who's got a proven track record in this league. He gives us an option, which is crucial. He gives us an option of playing a different way. And this time last week we were talking about signing Andy Carroll, or Peter Crouch, or Ashley Barnes, or so this is only good news. But I mean, simply by comparison, this is great news.
Yeah, look, he's got over 70 goals in the Premier League, 0.42 goals per game, French international, and I think also importantly, like you were saying with those other guys that you were going for, another one was Llorente, who's 32, and it looked like you were willing to spend 25 million on him. So to get Giroud for around 18 million, do you think that's one of the bargains of the window?
I don't know if I'd refer to it as a bargain. I think it's probably just quite a fair deal. I think it's a decent deal for us, because I think we've only signed him on an 18-month thing. I think we can go a bit longer. But if you end up paying 20 million for 18 months, it's not a bargain. But if it all goes well, we'll play in the Champions League. With him as an option, I feel like we should be okay. Okay.
What's okay?
Okay is okay is top 4 and maybe a cup. Well, that's too good. That's not okay. That's brilliant.
Okay, it's top
okay
4.
Is top 4.
Yeah. The other thing I saw all these. I wanted to hear if proper Chelsea fans thought on if this is hyperbole or if these are fair statements. I was listening to this podcast, and some of the comments that were coming out, I was thinking, come on, calm down a bit. But then someone else was another journalist, Jonathan Norcroft, was asked about what I'm about to say to you, and he kind of backed it up. And so, right, this is what was said. Well, so one thing that Antonio Conte definitely did say, so it'd be interesting to know if you think this is the other side of the coin, is that Chelsea are overachieving this season.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You would agree with that?
I would agree with that, yeah.
How?
Because it's a very small squad. It's not a very gifted squad. It's a pretty average squad.
But the bulk of that squad won the league.
Yeah, no, that was unreal though. That was that team winning the league. That team won the league with Victor Moses at right back. Victor Moses had a great season. I'm not knocking him, but nobody thought when Victor Moses wasn't getting in the Stoke team, nobody thought that man was going to go on and win the Premier League.
No.
There are lots of other examples like that. I'd say in our squad at the moment we have 2 world-class players. 2.
So who's that?
That'd be Thibaut Courtois and Eden Hazard.
Not Kante?
3. You make the case for 3. Kante is wonderful at what he does, but he's not a match-winning. He's not, what he's fantastic at. No, there is probably nobody better, but there are other midfielders who you would perhaps sign ahead of him.
Right.
But
yeah, okay.
I think in terms of world class, in terms of getting in a world 11, if you did a world 11, I think then Thibaut Courtois would have a shout of being in the squad, and I think Eden Hazard would probably be in the starting lineup. If you did
I think Kante would be in there, would he not? He's one of.
He'd be in the conversation.
You miss him when he's not there.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can't. If you understand football, you understand.
Okay, let's say Kante as well then.
Yeah.
Even just for the purposes of this, let's say Kante. So it's a team with 3 world class players in it that won the league. Think of the players that play for Manchester United. If you just think the world class players off the top of your head, you're already gone above 3. If you play the same game with Manchester United with Manchester City, you've probably gone above 8. And that's their bench. Then you start on the first team.
But part of that's based on the kind of the complexion that you see when teams are doing well or teams aren't doing well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the team has definitely overachieved. It's a small squad and it's an average squad, apart from a few jewels in the crown.
Right. Okay. So next one, Callum Wilson. They interviewed Callum Wilson and he was saying that they had a very clear plan.
Yeah, I know.
To press the left back. So. We've spoken about this before. That Marcus Alonso is one that on Twitter, on social media, gets a lot of stick.
Marcus Alonso,
but in the ground, love him. They love him.
Love him.
Is he a weakness? Because it seems like Bournemouth were like, right, this is the guy.
No, do you know who they were attacking? Their priority. It's down the left side, but it's Cahill.
Right.
It's Cahill is the weak link. Gary Cahill. Is the problem in that back line, definitely. Marcus Alonso comes in for a lot of grief, but there are flaws in his game. He's not a world-class left-back, but he is a really good left-back, and he contributes so much to the team overall. He scored 7 goals this year. He scored more goals than Pedro.
Yeah.
Scored more goals than Pedro. People want to give him grief. It's nuts. Ping scored 2 goals away at Tottenham. Chelsea fans want to give him grief. Scored a winner against Tottenham. What are you talking about? In their first game at Wembley.
Yeah, I agree.
He deserves a knighthood.
I won't go that far. Some of the things he's done. But okay, right. Next one. Jermaine Genius said that.
What really?
No. But he said this, and then Jonathan Norcroft backed it up. He said that this feels a lot like the last few months of Mourinho, and Genius in particular. Norcroft didn't say this. Genius in particular said that he gets the impression. Well, he's saying Conte has been moaning throughout the season. He hasn't stopped moaning all season, and he's saying it looks like a guy who, with the amount of money that's in football now, who doesn't want to walk away but wants to be sacked. Is that over the top?
I think that's a suggestion about Antonio Conte's character that I disagree with. I don't think he's that sort of man at all. and I think he would walk. I think he's a principled bloke who would walk if he wanted to. I think he wants it to go right. I think he wants it to be rectified and the situation to be put right. I don't think he'll be Chelsea manager next season, which is a travesty.
And the main reason for that is?
The reason for that is because he's just not getting on with the board at all. I don't think that the way that the club is run doesn't suit his style of management. It's a crazy system at Chelsea. He doesn't make the signings. So the players that are bought in, if you're the manager, you have no say over the players that are bought in. The players are bought in as club signings. Your job as manager is to make them champions.
Yeah.
But you don't select those players.
Yeah, and the buck stops with you.
The buck stops with you, yeah. So it doesn't suit his style of management. But it would be one of the greatest mistakes of Chelsea Football Club's history, certainly under Abramovich, if they let Antonio Conte go.
Okay. Other transfer deadline day deals, Lucas Moura. This is one of the signings of the window for me. 25-year-old. I think he's got exactly what Spurs need. He's got the pace, the finishing ability, his movements. I've watched a few games with him, and I like his movement in terms of being fluid and not just sort of standing still at times. And he's got real pace. I think on the counter attack, he could be really, really impressive for them. And he's also like 25 million. That's, for someone who's played so many games at the highest level and is still so young, I think it's just an amazing, amazing buy for Spurs. It'll be interesting to see where he fits in that team, but it certainly makes their squad better if they can keep everyone. So that's a big one for me. Let us know in the comments what has been the signing of the window. Another one I wanted to touch on was Riyad Mahrez, who it's happened again. He was linked with Chelsea in August.
I'd love to sign Riyad Mahrez.
I don't understand why. So Leicester wanted like 75 million for him.
He's worth that though.
I think he is too. I spoke to Scott from Scott Davies, a Leicester City fan, and he was saying he is inconsistent.
Yeah, but most brilliant players are.
True.
It's impossible to play. I mean, Messi's probably the example that you can use to suggest my point is wrong. But he's not. Messi's not a brilliant player. He's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Most players that are most match winners, you can't do it every week.
And you can't do it every week for a team like Leicester. What he did, and that's not picking on Leicester. It's any other team outside the top 5. If you're the star striker or that star winger, the pressure that's put on you is understandable and correct. You should have end products, because if you're good enough to be in that team, you should be delivering, I think, especially when there's so much money involved. But when you're the best player in the other teams, I think there's going to be moments where you're not dominating the game as much, you're not playing with players who are maybe on the same level as you. Yeah. And I really want to see this guy playing alongside players, because he wouldn't have done it with Algeria.
Yeah.
He's not done it at Leicester, but he's achieved incredible things with them.
It'd be wonderful. I agree. It'd be wonderful to see him linking up with Sergio Aguero rather than Mark Albright.
Yeah,
not knocking Albright.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, and Danny Murphy was saying yesterday, he's like, he's outgrown the club. I think Leicester City fans will, and I've done it with players. We did it with Adel Taarabt. He was a nightmare, but he was so special.
Yeah.
That you kind of
you can overlook a lot, can't you?
You can overlook way too much, really.
Yeah. It's like going out with a really fit girl. She can be a complete pain. Yeah. But you overlook it.
Yeah, you'll deal with it. Isn't there a ratio? There's like the. Yeah, let's not get into that. What's going through his head now, though?
Mahrez,
because that's twice now.
I imagine he's livid.
Yeah.
I imagine he's livid.
Puel's like... I was interested how Puel spoke about it. Because, again, he knows which side his bread's buttered. He knows he needs Mahrez to kind of come back for it to keep going well, which it has done whilst he's been manager. And so he was saying, like, I know it's really tough for him, but hopefully he'll come back and we'll get round him and we'll hope to make him smile again. I know it's going to be difficult for a few days. And I'm thinking, what? Like, if Mahrez behaved the way he did, or has done for Leicester City, and did the same at
Barcelona
at Chelsea or whatever,
you never play again. Yeah.
He'd be hated.
Yeah.
Totally hated.
Yeah, but Puel's doing the right thing though.
I agree. Yeah. No, it's interesting that
I just think at some point he needs to leave, doesn't he, Mahrez? Right, whether it's now or whether it's in the summer or whether it's in the next January transfer window, at some point he needs a new challenge.
Yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said that he's outgrown the club. He's so good.
It's human nature as well. I think that
Chelsea couldn't get the ball off him.
Oh yeah, you're saying like he was the best player on the pitch a few weeks ago.
Yeah, best player on the pitch by a mile.
Yeah.
Vardy was brilliant as well.
Really?
I mean, the best player on the pitch was Mahrez. Second best player on the pitch was Jamie Vardy.
Wow.
Like really good, so good that I was desperate to sign him off. I just thought, can we just sign both of these? They were so good.
Can Vardy do it? Do you think Vardy can do it?
Yeah, Vardy scored goals
top
anyway.
teams.
Vardy scored goals anyway. Brilliant.
Does he not need that counter attacking space?
I think he's a really underrated and often overlooked centre forward. I think he's great, and I think if he'd gone to Arsenal when that was mooted 18 months ago, I think he would have scored bundles of goals for them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a back line and he's the centre forward?
Yeah, he's exhausting.
Channel, every ball, channel, fast, aggressive, hungry, like natural finisher as well. He's a really good player, and I think that, people ask the question, could he do it at a top club? I went to Germany. I was in Berlin when he scored a back heel against them. England won 3-2, and he led the line. I think he can score goals anywhere if you can do that.
Yeah. So the most expensive January transfers, were they worth it? We'll quickly go through these. Coutinho, 142 million, Liverpool to Barcelona. Was he worth it?
No.
Too much money?
Too much money for not... He's, in my opinion, this isn't really even a knock on Coutinho, because Coutinho's wonderful, of course he is. But they've paid 142 million for a player that wasn't even the best player at Liverpool. He was the third best player at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Salah being the best, Mane being the second best.
I mean, yeah.
Like when Chelsea played Liverpool, petrified of Salah. Sadio Mane on his day is completely unplayable. Coutinho is the next
more subtle, isn't he? Maybe.
More subtle. But look, I rate him. I think he's a fantastic player. But 142 million for the third best player at Liverpool. No, I don't think that's
when
worth
you put it. If you agree with that, then I think that's a fair point.
If he's worth 142 million, what is Mo Salah worth?
It's all about
What's Sadio Mane?
I don't really understand those three numbers. Do you know what I mean? I look at it, 142 million, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It just confuses me. Virgil van Dijk, Southampton to Liverpool, I think that is worth it for me.
Agreed, is worth it, because they were desperate for that. That's the chink in the armour, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And a massive problem that they've had. He was on the bench last night, but I think, he's a Rolls Royce, and I think I was chatting to Paul about him. He said he's so much better than the centre backs that they've got.
Didn't he score against Everton on his debut as well?
He scored the winner. Yeah, amazing FA Cup. Okay, Aubameyang, Dortmund to Arsenal, 56 million.
See, with the other two, we can judge it because I don't know. I'm struggling to answer this. Will Aubameyang offer a lot more than Lacazette?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he's a bit. He's got more about him. They've both got. I think he's been playing in a more difficult league.
Do they play up front together?
I think that's a huge question. Lacazette's got to be thinking, what's going on here? How do we all fit in? Because you've got Ozil as well. You've got Mkhitaryan as well.
As a front four, it's great, but they're not going to play a front four, are they?
I don't think so. So I mean.
Lots of letters, lots of long names in that front four.
Too many, if you ask me. What I saw was that the acronym now is LMAO.
LMAO, okay. Yes,
which can be spun both ways, but I'm sure that's going to be a fixture on social media in the near future. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think Aubameyang is going to be worth the money or not? And Aymeric Laporte was the last one, who's gone to Man City. The reason I picked this up is what this really says to me is Vincent Kompany's finished.
Do you know what else it says to me? I think the ambition of Manchester City is demonstrated in this move. 15 points clear at the top of the league. They go and spend 60 million quid on a bloke.
Yeah.
How can you like they will win the Champions League, won't they? Whether it's now, whether it's next year, whether it's the year after.
Yeah, totally.
They're going to win the Champions League.
Yeah. I was speaking to Stephen Housen about it, and I was saying, how do you feel if they did the treble, or if they did the quadruple? They could do that. They've got one game away in the League Cup. Yeah. They're winning every game so easily.
You've got to think that they're very, very likely to do a domestic treble because they're in the final of one trophy. The Premier League's in the bag already.
So yeah,
two are in the bag.
So really,
win the FA Cup and you've.
Yeah, they can totally concentrate on that as well. I think it's
win the FA Cup. They've done a domestic treble.
Yeah, It's like,
not quite as good as United's, but
then there's the debate, which would be interesting. But I think Howson was like, I'd be absolutely devastated because it does wash it away.
Of course,
no one talked like when you talk about trebles, you talk about Man United. If it's, no one talks about it. Once it's done, once someone's got a quadruple there.
I think a double. I think winning the double is worthy. Well, I mean, we sing about winning the double all the time. We won the double in 2010, and that will forever be one of our high points as a club.
Yeah,
we didn't win the double last year when we should have done. Arsenal stopped us. Arsenal fans would be over the moon. I imagine that Arsenal fans would have been as happy with them winning the cup as they stopped us winning the double.
Yeah.
Treble.
So yeah, let us know your thoughts. Actually, last question to you, Rory. Which team has improved the most from this transfer window, in your opinion?
Who's had the best window? It would Arsenal, I suppose. Arsenal have brought in Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang.
They've lost Sanchez and Giroud.
I think Arsenal will be very happy with the window. They lost the players they lost Giroud by their own choosing. That was in their plan. So I don't think they can look at that one and be too bothered. Equally, Sanchez, they've known it was coming for long enough.
Yeah.
I think Sanchez.
And they've signed Ozil as well.
They've signed Ozil up. So that's exactly. So
maybe it is Arsenal. Yeah. I would cheeky bench we'll see with West Brom, because the teams down the bottom, they need to sort things out. That's why they're down the bottom. And in Sturridge, if he stays fit and plays, I still desperately believe that he's just a quality player. He's not been in a team that's suited him. And football's moved on a little. Well, not moved on, but certainly, Liverpool and Spurs, those kind of teams that press like that, his body's not built for that. But he's still
I can't put my finger on it with Sturridge.
I think we'll find out because either he's gonna be desperate to play. He's back home, and that will make his life more comfortable. But can he stay fit?
2011, 2012, when he was at Chelsea, he was just a goal scorer, just an old-fashioned goal scorer. He just put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, well, yeah, and even Liverpool the season finished second. Bolton he was great at as well. It's now time for Those Were the Days. A lot of people's favourite bit. Rory had a little look at the list.
Good
and
list.
he was well pleased with it.
Who's written this list?
So this is Johnny. Cheers, Johnny.
Johnny 5.
Get in the comments. Guys, and put your Those Were the Days and your Soldiers Lost in Battle, which we're going to read out very soon. Starting to get a little bit dry on the Soldiers Lost for Battle stories, but they are cracking. So keep them coming in the comments below. Do that for us, and we'll read them out on the podcast. So Johnny has written just an epic list of Those Were the Days, and let's just go through a few of them. I won't be able to do the jingle for all of them, but to kick us off, and quite a divisive person here, Mark Lawrenson's moustache. So, I hate Mark Lawrenson. And you know me, I don't like to hate anyone or anything, if possible. But I hate Mark Lawrenson. He drags down punditry. He's useless. He's always been useless. He's not even nice to look at, which would be that might be something I could get from him. He talks drivel. He's miserable. I hate him.
Really?
Yeah. He did used to have a moustache though, which was bizarre, and he had to shave it off because he said, "I'll shave off my moustache if Bolton stay up."
Is that what it was?
Years ago, and then he shaved it off.
Right.
He never really went back.
Right.
Thoughts on Mike Lawrence?
I'm so ambivalent.
He does my nutting.
I think you're the most passionate man about Mark Lawrenson. That includes his family. And nobody feels like this about him, James. Either way, love or hate.
I find it bizarre how he's kind of he gets the odd Football Focus gig, but they've been desperate to phase him out for a while. I reckon.
I think when Hansen retired, he was at the back for Liverpool with Hansen, wasn't he? It was Hansen Lawrenson as a combo.
Mm.
Like it's Bruce Pallister.
Yeah.
It's the Chuckle Brothers. There are certain people who are only good with.
That's true.
When accompanied by someone else.
Yeah, he's like
Hale and Pace, Robson and Jerome.
Nice. Google them. Those were the days. David Beckham playing for Preston North End. I like these little stories. You have that Lampard was at Swansea City. There's a lot of those.
Jermaine Defoe at Bournemouth. Right?
Yeah, a lot of great players that kind of go off. And then they'll be forever kind of loved at that club because they went on and became amazing.
John Terry
players.
at Forest.
Was he?
Yeah.
God.
Terry at Forest.
So yeah, let us know other ones of that. But yeah, David, I didn't see him play there. I think he played with David Moyes there.
Yes.
Which is maybe at least assistant manager. Right. Gary Lineker, I can't go through all of these, but Gary Lineker being on They Think It's All Over. Let's not talk about that because it'll go on forever. Michael Owen pre-injuries.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, that was sad.
Michael Owen bursting onto the scene was, I can remember it happening, and it was a bit like Beatlemania, wasn't it? It was just like, this kid is going to win England the World Cup in '98.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? And I can remember, do you know, weirdly, I don't know how I remember this, but he got injured at Leeds. It was at Ellen Road, and he was never the same man again.
Was it his hamstring?
His hamstring went at Ellen Road. He was about to score. He's gone blistering through. No defender within 10 yards of him because he was so quick.
It's like he's been shot.
And he went over as if he'd been shot. Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, I think there's a view like that. Like Robbie Fowler. I swear, there's two Robbie Fowlers in my head. There's the kid that burst on the scene, and then a fat bloke.
Robbie Fowler was so good. Do you remember that hat-trick he scored against Arsenal in about 2 minutes?
Yeah, but he was frightening in those couple of seasons. Then I think he might have done his knee or something.
I think Robbie Fowler was probably the best finisher that the Premier League's ever seen. Just in terms of scoring goals, Robbie Fowler was that good. And do you know, this is how great England had it at the time. I don't even think we realised how lucky we were. Robbie Fowler didn't get in the England team.
No.
Matt Le Tissier didn't get in the England team.
Yeah.
How good were England that they could have players as good as Robbie Fowler? Like, Robbie Fowler was playing now, the entire team would be built around him. The entire team would revolve around Robbie Fowler.
Yeah.
If Matt Le Tissier was playing now, the whole team would be built around him.
There was, around that time, there was so...
Andy Cole, Ian Wright.
Les Ferdinand.
Yeah.
I nearly said Dion Dublin. I mean, he had a good record. I'm not sure he's up there. But yeah, they had a lot of good strikers. Right, one more. I tell you what, have a look at that list, Rory, because we can't... Honestly, we'll have to pick up this next week because there are so many. But you pick one and I'll pick one.
Okay.
You go first.
I like England World Cup songs. I loved them. I will still make reference to them around the World Cup. So before we go to Russia, there'll definitely be a few tweets from me saying this time more than any other time.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
The 90s was certainly golden era for it. It's become a bit it went a bit, when it got to Sven, it was like we lost it a bit.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I think it has to be it's 96. It's anything from 98. Do you remember the remix of Three Lions?
Yeah.
Where they sort of updated it for France. I think anything there or before, they were good songs.
Yeah, World in Motion was incredible.
World in Motion.
We are crying out for something like that. We're crying out for a team to do something at a tournament.
Lily Allen
to
did
pair
really
that with.
One. Have you ever heard Lily Allen's one? It didn't really get any release, but it was good. It was like an alternative World Cup song from her. It was called Bass Like Home. Do you get it? It's like a pun.
Right.
Yeah, it's called Bass Like Home, and it was
BASS.
Yeah, as in like the bass if you're into drum and bass.
Sure.
So yeah, she did one called Bass Like Home when she was talking about Gaza and raves around the M25 and Reebok classics and basically talking about everything that I associate with England.
Nice. We need a new one. We need a good one. Right, final one. I'm going to pick one. Match Magazine. It's got to be. I'm a subscriber of 442 Magazine. Have been for at least 10 years. And what? But Match Magazine was the original. There was also one called Soccer Stars, which was very good. But Match Magazine's still out there, I think. But I loved it.
Can I do one more? Sorry.
Go on.
I really like this. Argentine football on Channel 5 at 3 a.m. Do you remember when you had to actually put effort in to watch football? Rather than just getting on your phone and finding it on Twitter. When you actually had to do crazy things. I can't go out. Why? I've got to set my alarm for 3 a.m. Yeah,
it's Boca River.
Yeah.
River
game. Plate are playing.
Yeah, playing Newell's Old Boys. So many more on this list, and those were the days. Let us know yours in the comments below, and sooner or later we will get to them. So that was those were the days. Spurs versus Liverpool is the big game this weekend. Liverpool have won 1 out of the last 10 meetings with Spurs, so they haven't got the best of records with them.
Wow.
But two rivals, for that top four that we were chatting about earlier. Which one do you worry about the most? Both. So firstly, if you're just facing them.
No, my priority, my worry, my fear.
Right.
Is Tottenham. Not because they're in a better position to finish above us, but because they can't. I can't live in a world where they win at Stamford Bridge. I can't live in a world where they're above us. It would be awful.
So that's coming soon. That's down the road, isn't it?
I don't view Liverpool as a rival in the way that I view Tottenham as a rival.
There's a bit of hatred with Liverpool and Chelsea, though.
There was, sort of a decade or so ago, we played each other a lot, and it was born a bit. But
you hate Rafa Benitez.
I don't like Rafa Benitez. But I'm a Chelsea fan. No Chelsea fan likes Rafa Benitez.
You hate him as much as I hate Mike Lawrenson.
No, it's nowhere near as passionate.
no one hates anything that much.
Like Rafael Benitez won a UEFA Cup with us. So true. Like that day in Amsterdam was fantastic. I was out there. Ivanovic scored a header. Rafael Benitez guided us to that. I'll always be respectful to him.
Right. So here you go then. Would you rather you don't finish in the Champions League, but you finish above Spurs, or you finish in the Champions League?
No, we've got to do. The only way that can happen is in 2012. Tottenham finished above us. We finished 6th. They finished 4th. They were in the Champions League spots. We then won the Champions League and kicked them out of it.
Right, that's what you're having. But no, hang on, you don't dictate it. I'm giving you a question.
No, I can't answer that question because Tottenham finishing out of these two to keep it on trend. Tottenham on my fit. So in this game, despite the precarious league positions of everything, I hope Liverpool win 10-0.
Okay. Well, I'm sure a lot of people watching this will be in agreement with you. I think Liverpool have had. I'm surprised by that stat of them not winning that many games.
I'm surprised by that as well
because they've. I know the last couple of games I've seen between the two. Well, certainly at Anfield, I think there's been a couple of draws there, and Spurs have been kind of hanging on. But they did get beat 4-1 earlier in the season. I think Liverpool were in a different place then. But I think it's going to be the first kind of real test for Van Dijk. I think they'll look to try and play him in that game. But I think it's a bit of a body blow for whoever doesn't win that game. But if Spurs can win that game, having beaten United, played really well in that game.
Oh look! If Tottenham win that, so their next games are they play Manchester United, they play Liverpool, they play Arsenal. If they're taking 9 or even 7 points from those 3 games, we got problems.
You've got massive problems.
We got problems.
Let us know your prediction for that game and who's going to win it and why. Soldiers lost in battle time. Rory, I think you've been on the pod before, haven't you? So you're aware of Soldiers Lost in Battle.
Oh,
no Flav this week to do the introduction, but essentially, Soldiers Lost in Battle is it's caring, it's sharing. Really, it's you guys. Let us know the toughest moments that you've gone through as a football fan, and we'll talk about it and just give you your moment to kind of share it and move forward with your lives. We need more, so get in the comments and let us know your Soldiers Lost in Battle stories. Whilst you're typing there, move your mouse and click and subscribe to Long Ball Street. And subscribe to us on iTunes as well. You can do that on your phone because you've got 2 hands. But this is Soldiers Lost in Battle. Villo hit Tapachetti. I'm an Everton fan. It was January 15th, 2017. We were playing Manchester City at home in the Premier League. I wasn't in town and had to watch the match on the hotel telly. About 5 minutes before the match, we lost power supply in the hotel because a peacock got stuck in the wires. Rest in peace. It took about an hour and a half to fix the problem. Obviously the peacock had died, and to make matters worse, when I switched the TV back on, we were 3-0 up. I could only watch the last 10 minutes. I missed one of the best matches Everton have played in, and a peacock lost its life at the same time. We won 4-0 versus City that day. Difficult. Okay. Chris Gord. Hello boys, 2014 World Cup. I'm an Aussie and it's fair to say we only had pride to play for. I'm from Melbourne and the game against the Dutch was on around very early in the morning. I needed to stay awake. The plan was my mates and I get absolutely plastered and watch it together. There's always one who doesn't make it though. It was me. I got destroyed and was clumsily put into a mate's bed after being very sick. I missed the what should have been goal of the tournament, Timmy Cahill banger. You'll remember that goal. But that's okay because I get reminded of it as it's on every fucking sport ad over here. I'm usually a pro at pacing myself on a Saturday night sesh, as I'm a Spurs fan and have been so for my whole life, and I'm used to staying up and watching the games. Cheers, Dad. Thanks, boys, and fuck alcohol. And final one. I'm going to reset the music here. Dan Fraser. It was the 6th of April 2015, which for me was my Easter holidays, being only 15 at the time. My local team, AFC Bournemouth, who I'd supported for 8 years, were only a handful of games away from making it to the Premier League despite being in the League 2 relegation zone several years earlier. I'd been on a family visit to see relatives of my mum who live in South Devon. I insisted that the visit be cut short so I could get back in time for the home game against Birmingham, and because I was sick and tired of seeing them as we went there several times a year. My parents... Am I boring you? My parents made the compromise of us leaving on the day of the game at 10 AM, which allowed for 5 hours to complete a journey that almost always takes half that time. However, we reached a small village which had a... Jesus, this is long. Which had a fast pub that caught fire. The fire crews arrived on the scene in quick time, but this was frustrating to me, as they closed the road for 2 hours to allow for the fire equipment and vehicles to assess the blaze. It gets to 2 PM that day with the game an hour from kick-off, with me now relatively near Dean Court, the football ground, but with no chance of getting there given the traffic. I said to my parents, there's bugger all chance of us getting there in time. I'm out of here. I got out of the car and I just ran. I got to the ground at 3:30 to find us 2-0 down to a poor Birmingham team who had already been beaten 8-0 that season, and wondered, 1, what was going on, and 2, was this ordeal of me puffing out my cheeks, gasping for air after running for an hour and a half in 30-degree heat worth it? Thankfully, the players pulled the fingers out their asses and were able to win 4-2, which definitely answered the second question of was it all worth it. I know it's not a one. I know it's got a happy ending with regards to the result to the game, but that's as close to a soldiers lost in battle story that I've got. So there you have it.
I was really disappointed as soon as you said Chris Gord from Australia. I was really anticipating a wonderful Australian accent from him.
Oh, really?
I thought, this is it. He's going to go from the southern states of America into... He's going to do Australian.
No, I could have. It's in my locker.
Because when you said Timmy Cahill, you said Timmy Cahill's banger. You actually said it in Australian accent.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? Soldiers Lost in Battle is not layered like that, but maybe it should be.
Maybe it should be. But I think that's the way that it needs to be. Can we make that a thing? Whenever anybody writes in a soldier lost in battle, can you put in brackets where you're from, and James will adopt that accent?
Give it a go.
So, can that happen next week?
Maybe if your soldier lost in battle story is good enough, you've written in the comments obviously, and you give your accent of choice. I'll give it a go.
I'm gonna write one in.
How long will we be going? Quite a while, I guess.
Yeah, an hour.
An hour, okay.
he's so bored.
Bored out of his mind.
He's so bored.
Okay.
He just had to wake him up to ask him that question.
Right, one last question then, because I put on Twitter that said that you were coming on. There was one question that I quite liked.
Oh, one. We got one. Brilliant.
Well, we got like 4 or 5. It was amazing. So one, just because people won't know about this, and actually the reason I wanted to bring it up was I'm thinking of making my own YouTube channel. I was chatting to you about it. Thinking about doing it, and what I kind of wanted to talk about with different people that we've got in the industry is kind of their story and how they got into things and how they've got where they've got to, and so I'll get you on my channel if that's all right.
It would be an honour and a joy.
Because Rory's got a really interesting story in terms of like how you got to this point in time. So the short version, because this is a little tease for maybe on my channel now. Domino at Cantos' very own has asked, how have you both found yourself in this line of work? So I'll save my story maybe for my channel when it comes to be. But what's found yourself working at Bull Street as a producer, and what's your story briefly?
The way that this actually came about is I was working TV, like normal TV. In fact, when James starts up his own channel, which you really should do, by the way, as soon as possible. Yeah. But when you do that, you'll find out that James has not a dissimilar story.
Yeah.
But I was working TV, and I was working on the X Factor. I was a researcher who wasn't very good at his job, but I used to bang on about football all the time. In the same office, there was a group of people who eventually became the Football Republic, who were starting up a football. The Football Republic. So when they were looking for somebody to sort out the Chelsea channel, they were like, "Can anyone remember that bloke's name?" There was a little bloke who used to always be walking about in really short shorts, who was never stopped banging on about Chelsea. What's he doing now? And I went and met them, and that was the beginning of my life in sort of online football. The beginning of 2014.
And I think there's a lot of people that we're going to talk about this at another time. But because I think a lot of people ask about how people get to work in this industry, and I think that the sort of top line is kind of get into the industry as a whole, and then you never know where
and hope for the best.
Bit like football, you never know how things are going to work out. Like Chelsea, I hope you don't make it into the Champions League.
Of course you do.
So I'm a QPR fan. I've been brainwashed from an early age, but it's still exciting for you, mate. You've still got Champions League to come. Going to Barcelona, which is going to be tough. You were chatting to Craig about how do we beat Barcelona.
I don't know. If anyone has any answers to that as well, let me know. It's going to be very exciting, and
it's going to get.
Do you know what I would say though? I would say that of course it's looking unlikely, but never write us off. We can beat them. Nobody thought we were going to win the Champions League in Munich against Munich in their stadium, and we did.
Very true. Annoyingly so. Right, Rory, thank you, mate.
It's been good fun. Thank you.
Check us out on iTunes. Go subscribe to the One for the Weekend podcast. Search Long Ball Street and you'll find us there. This podcast is brought to you by Fan League. So get involved in the One for the Weekend League. We're starting to get a little bit better, but we need your help. So click on that link. Add me as a friend, James Alcott, ALLCOTT, and I will add you to the league. If you have any problems with that, tweet me at James Alcott, ALLCOTT. Hit subscribe to Long Ball Street. Hit like as well, because it helps, gets more people watching it, which we would like, and let us know your thoughts and everything. And we will see you very soon. Goodbye.